Welcome back to Stooge Dream for another episode. I'm your host, the Stooge, and I have just gotten back from the red carpet premiere screening of Rogue One, a Star Wars story at Fox Studios in Sydney, Australia. So I'm going to give a very brief talk about what I thought about the movie and my relationship with Star Wars and so forth. But just before I get to that, if you're someone that's easily triggered, if you're someone that likes writing biblical proportion essays on people's YouTube channels, if you're someone that screams, "Mom! Get the fuck off my channel. I don't need you," and this will probably piss you off. So just to get that out of the way early on in the piece, we want to make sure that we're on the same page. So I've been a Star Wars fan my whole life. I'm 35 years old. I have a deep attachment to the original trilogy. New Hope, Empire, and Jedi are amazing films. The prequels were absolute fucking garbage, and anyone that says different and tries to defend those movies is a fucking moron, and that's somebody you don't need to deal with. If they pull out that one fight scene, yeah, but man, the movie went for 2 hours. A 10-second fight scene in a 2-hour movie does not make a good movie. Those 3 movies were complete disasters. Episode 1, 2, and 3. So let's get to The Force Awakens very quickly. I actually got to go to the red carpet screening of The Force Awakens as well. I came out and on national TV told my thoughts about how much I disliked that movie. Why, you ask? It was a well-shot, well-acted movie, and I agree with you. The cinematography in that film was amazing. Some of the acting was really, really good. But when you make the same movie for the 3rd time, motherfucker, I have seen that film. I saw it when it first came out. It was called A New Hope. I saw it again when they did it in Empire, and you went and blew up a Death Star for the 3rd time, and you told exactly the same story as A New Hope? Come on, seriously. So now with Rogue One, here is our new hope for the Star Wars franchise. Something set apart from the main series films where hopefully we can get a decent Star Wars movie in this generation, because I feel sorry for kids that are under 25 years old. They grew up with the prequels as their Star Wars movies. You poor sad bastards. They are not Star Wars movies. So I went in this, as you can imagine, with a lot of trepidation, having a bad taste in my mouth from the prequels and from The Force Awakens. And I could not have been more wrong. Rogue One is a fantastic movie. Rogue One made me want to go back and watch the prequels because it ties the prequels to the originals, where there was this huge gap that it kind of didn't make sense of. How did it get from the end of episode 3 to the beginning of episode 4? Well, this kind of ties that all in and shows you exactly, like, this ends at the beginning of episode 4. It's great. This is a really, really good movie. I really enjoyed it. Now, let's talk about the actual actors themselves a little bit. So Felicity Jones, playing Jane, is really, really good. Diego Luna, who the knockout Fiona, who was there with me, is a huge fan of and has seen a lot of his Spanish-speaking films. And I've actually ended up watching a few myself, and he's a really great actor. His Cassian was amazing. Alan Tudyk, playing K2SO, I think it was? K2SO. By the end of this film, if you don't fall in love with K2SO, there's something wrong with you. If you don't think Alan Tudyk should be called Alan 3Dick, there's something wrong with you. Donnie Yen, who is a martial arts superstar. If you don't know Donnie Yen, you should really go check out a few of his films. And he has been in some English-speaking films and some films that are more palatable for the English audience, like Hero. He was in Blade 2. The current series that he's very well known for is the Ip Man series, speaking about the founder of martial arts. But the first time I actually saw Donnie Yen was in Iron Monkey, a long time ago. That was a great film from the 90s, and he is a spectacular martial artist and gets to show off a little bit of his skills in this movie, as well as being one of the most interesting characters in the film. Wen Jiang was fantastic, as well as his kind of partner. They play I don't even want to tell you what they played, but it's great. Ben Mendelsohn, an Aussie was in it, and he was great. Aussie represent. Forrest Whitaker, I'm of the opinion that Forrest Whitaker is an amazing actor, but I think he is a really weird dude because he just can't play roles straight anymore. But the way he plays Saw Gerrera was fantastic. Jimmy Smits is there to tie in the original, the prequel trilogy to this film that ties it to the original trilogy. That, yeah, he's one of the points there. Now, if you don't want to hear a spoiler, skip forward about 10 seconds, and I'll wait 2. Okay, so you see Carrie Fisher in this movie, so she's the tying point to the original trilogy. So you've got 2 tying points of Jimmy Smits and Carrie Fisher. There's some just great thought put into this film. There's some absolutely amazing acting, great story, which I'm not going to spoil for you in any fashion because I want you to go experience this film. Currently, it's sitting on IMDb at 7.7. No, I think it should be probably closer to 8.5, maybe even tipping into a close to a 9-ish. Like, I really, really like this movie. The good thing is, as well, is it's its own separate self-contained story. So you can watch this as its own film, not knowing anything else about any of the other Star Wars films, and it's still a fantastic movie all on its own. It's just an epic science fiction, war, thought-provoking film that has some really great actual, as I said, thought put into it. Like the rebels are kind of not the nicest guys in the world to start with. And you understand why, because they're fighting back against something that's so massive that they can't even grasp the complexity of what they're fighting against. The Imperial Army is all there. It's where it should be prior to Episode 4, prior to them first testing the Death Star on a planet on Alderaan. If you're any sort of Star Wars fan, you should really check this out. If you're just a fan of good storytelling and good movies, you should probably check this out as well. I honestly put this up there with the original trilogy, with A New Hope, with Empire, and with Jedi. And we're going to move those as far away from the prequels as we can, because that was, as I said, just a disaster. But this really fits at home with the original trilogy, with the way it felt. And again, just a really good movie. I really hope everyone gets a chance to see this. And after you get a chance to actually see the movie, comment below. I'm not going to do any spoilers, even in the comments, for at least the next week or so. Give people an opportunity to see the movie before we start talking about the intricacies of it. But let me know what you thought. Like, did you like it? Are you excited for the other spin-offs? Because I am now. I wasn't before this. I was kind of like, but now I'm really excited for the spin-offs. I couldn't care less about the next episodes in the main stories, to be honest. But the spin-off movies, I'm all aboard the hype train for those. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy Rogue One as much as myself and the Knockout Fiona did. Until next time, don't forget, adventure, excitement, Stooge craves not these things. Welcome to the Stooge Revolution.